Poindexter's Garage. I'm Tom Halbrook. We've got the 1930 Ford AA 1.5 ton we just bought from a family in North Carolina. The history on the truck was it was the grandfather's truck. It had been in the family since I believe the 1970s. The grandfather basically just drove it in parades a few times a year, and grandfather passed away a few years back here, and so his son-in-law was kind of the caretaker of it, and they live in Apex, North Carolina, not too far, about 12 miles outside of Raleigh, North Carolina, and they live in a pretty, I guess, suburban type area, and they don't have anywhere to keep the truck, so they were keeping it at a church they go to, and they had a pavilion they were keeping it under out of the weather somewhat, so they used the pavilion for weddings and so forth like that. So the truck started setting outside more in the weather, and you can tell that the roof has been damaged and stuff from the weather. Actually, the roof blew off. It was deteriorating when we bought it. By the time we got it from North Carolina to Festus, Missouri, we blew the top clean off the thing. So that's what we're left with now. We were going to put a top on it anyway, so it wasn't really a big deal. They sell the kits and all that, so we're gonna redo it and fix it up right and give it the love and care that it deserves. So the son-in-law, back to the story of why this came about. The son-in-law didn't have a place to keep it. They were keeping it at the church. Church really wanted them to get it off the property, and you know, they used it in photo shoots for weddings and stuff like that. But the son-in-law didn't have any place to work on it out of the weather and stuff to where he could really tinker with it. He would have liked to have tinkered with it and kept it in the family, but they didn't have anywhere to keep it out of the weather, and they knew it was really, you know, really going to be a bad deal for it long term to keep it in the elements and so forth like that. So they struggled with selling it. I don't really think they wanted to sell it. Even when we came and picked it up, you could tell him and his daughter came, the middle daughter, and they had a really emotional attachment to it. So, you know, we're going to give it a good home. Since we've had it, we got it off. We got it running on the truck. We hauled it on the trailer. And we got it running. Replaced a couple of wires and charged the battery up on it. Cleaned the carburetor out a little bit and some of the old gas, and finally got it to fire up and dialed in the carburetor a little bit. So it'll run and drive. The things it does really well is it, you know, shifts decent. It shifts decent, steers okay. You know, it probably needs grease and so forth like that. Runs good though. I mean, the motor sounds really decent on it. It doesn't seem to smoke any. And apparently we drove it enough that we're getting clean or clear gas through it now. There's some sediment down there in the bottom. We didn't change it out. We just left that. We burnt the old fuel out of it. We should have drained that and cleaned that out, but we didn't do it. So it'll start and run pretty good. It's got some things it needs. Look in the inside. It has no floorboard. Not a big deal. You know, we'll replace the floorboard on it. Yeah, I mean, it starts up pretty nicely. Let's see here. So it's really, I mean, the motor sounds pretty good. It's got a little bit of a vibration. Got to turn the fuel on. There we go. There we go. set the spark up. So a couple things it's going to need right off the bat. It's got a radiator leak. Carburetor's going to need back here. See how wet it is. Pretty good sounding old motor. Tire's in pretty good shape on it. But needs some retarded spark advance there. So yeah, it's gonna need interior. It's gonna need door panels. It's gonna need the floorboard. We'll probably make the floorboard ourselves. We can buy kits for all this stuff, but we'll probably make the panels ourselves. We may get the, we're gonna need to replace seat covers. We're gonna fix the inside up nice. And we'll buy the kit for the roof. We'll replace the top on it. We'll rebuild the carburetor on it, get all the lights working on it. It's gonna need we got to get a headlight glass for it, and it's got a lot of funky wiring on it. We replaced this wiring, this wire here on it today, going from the starter up to the amp meter, and then this was already on here. So we're gonna try to replace a lot of these wires and make them period correct wiring, and that we like everything is period correct so we can get it. But you know, you got stuff like this here that's gonna have to we're basically gonna have to go through the wiring on it, because it's got a lot of pieces of wires and stuff that are cut and just kind of hobnot in. They've had problems in the past with this wiring loom right here in the steering wheel, so we're going to redo that and get the horn working, get the lights working, because right now none of that works. We've got a water leak up in here in this area. The radiator's leaking right there, so we'll take that down to Farmington to the fella out there on 32. We'll replace, it looks like we've got some wetness there. We'll probably put 2 new hoses, or actually we'll replace all 3 hoses on it. We'll replace the hoses while we're getting the radiator cleaned up and flushed and all that stuff. And then we'll go through and get a carburetor rebuild kit. We'll rebuild the carburetor on it. Check the ignition. We'll go through and replace the wiring on it with period correct wiring. And then I think it's supposed to have a condenser. Doesn't the condenser and that's not 100% correct on it, so we're going to check stuff like that. And those of you that are Model A aficionados that know how the stuff's supposed to be, you can leave comments as to what we need on this. But the belt's loose on it. We'll check the generator out, make sure it's putting out the amperage it's supposed to, and so forth. Then we'll grease and lube everything. But as far as the body and stuff, like these lights here, these lights are lights that he put on. They're signal lights. They're not really period correct. However, they're kind of cool, and they kind of look period correct a little bit. So we'll probably leave those on there, get them cleaned up, and maybe clean them up, and maybe shoot them with a little fresh coat of paint. We'll buff the rest of it out. These are just some of the things we're planning on doing to the truck. I'd like to get another little visor for this one, like over there on that one. And then the bed, we're going to we're gonna sand this down. We're gonna clean the bed up, and we're gonna put some more boards on it. We're gonna put one more row of boards on it, get it all slicked up and stained to where kids can ride in it. And like these lights here, I don't really like those. If I can find something a little more period correct, those are signal lights. Unless maybe there's a way that I can get the original lights to work as signal lights, we'll do that. And like up in here, we've got stuff that we haven't even really gone through yet, so we don't really know. This is kind of neat. It's kind of like a little bench, but it'd actually be neater if it was a little bit taller. You never know what you're gonna find in these old things. Okay, oh, check it out. There's some of the old, there's the old jack, so that's kind of cool. There's a stram, there's a tire pump. I don't really know if that's... All right, well, that's not period correct, but this jewel here is, wow, that's pretty cool. Okay, so, okay, huh, and it, I don't know if it works or not, but anyway, looks like there's another, looks like a lug wrench, which is probably period correct. Then I doubt it, but there's stuff on the inside too. So we're gonna sand all this down. We're gonna stain it up real nice. Like I said, we're not gonna repaint it or anything like that, but we're gonna really, do the woodwork upright on it. We'll probably polish this old paint up and see if we can get it a little bit of a shine. It's got some rust right there. I'd kind of like to fix that and get it to where it doesn't get any worse. Neat thing about it is some of the little stuff on it, like the here's one of the headlight rings, so we'll throw it in the back. We'll have to get the headlight for it, but like the windshield wiper actually works on it, which is kind of cool. Let's see here, hit the starter. I don't think I should have. Okay, check this out. Pull the knob, or push it in. Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of cool. So yeah, we'll get that, but we got to get it tuned up. We got to go through the ignition, so forth like that, get the interior done. So that's kind of what we're going to do with it. We'll do videos on each step of the way. Like I said, we're going to get all this wiring backed up, period correct. We're going to go through all of it. May end up replacing most of it, but everything's going to work, the horn, the lights. So anyway, you can leave your comments and any ideas and suggestions down below. And as Baden says, stay tuned for the next one. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Take care.